question it.
Oh, really?
Yep, stop good.
A lot of the dudes are like that is true. Jay Butterworth.
Video presentation about the Battle of Midway.
Ship, though, did not participate in the Battle of Midway. Many people think that's why we're named, but no, we're named after the Battle of Midway. But the Battle of Midway is considered by all naval historians to be the most important battle in the entire Pacific War. Even though there's some massive sea battles later on, for example, Philippine Sea, Leyte Gulf, Okinawa, huge sea battles compared to Midway. But Midway is still considered the most important because of timing and circumstance. The Battle of Midway only occurs 6 months after Pearl Harbor. But during those first 6 months of the war, the Japanese Navy, victory after victory after victory. U.S. Navy, pretty much on defense. After the Battle of Midway, those roles reverse. Why? Well, at the start of the war, Pearl Harbor, Japan has in the Pacific 11 heavy aircraft carriers to the USS 3. So they have a 4-to-1 advantage in air power. Plus, all of the Japanese pilots had 2 to 4 years of combat experience prior to Pearl Harbor, because Japan had been at war with China for that long prior to Pearl. But after the Battle of Midway, those 11-to-3 odds are now 5-to-3 odds. The next 3 years of the war, America builds another 30 heavy aircraft carriers and about 75 medium and light aircraft carriers. In that same time frame, Japan built a total of 7 carriers of all sizes. That's why Midway is considered the most important. right? Now, in every battle, there are decisions made by ordinary men that change the outcome of the battle from defeat to victory. Midway is no exception. There are three major decisions that are made that morning. The first one's made by Lieutenant Commander John Waldron. He is commanding officer of Torpedo 8, 15 torpedo bombers stationed on the carrier Hornet. It's featured in this movie. Now, he and his squadron are flying along with another 45 planes from the Hornet, and he believes his flight leader is taking them in the wrong direction to find the Japanese. So he orders his squadron to break away and follow him. Torpedo 8 separates themselves from the rest of the Hornet Air Group. Now, Torpedo 8 finds and attacks the Japanese. The other 45 planes from the Hornet, they got hopelessly lost, never engaged the enemy. The second major decision in the morning occurs within the Enterprise Air Group. That's about 60 planes strong. They're led by Lieutenant Commander Wade McCluskey. Now, McCluskey's taking his group in the direction he believes Japanese fleet is. But he reaches the point of no return before finding the Japanese fleet. Knowing full well if he orders aircraft beyond that point, many of the planes aren't going to have enough fuel to make it back. He orders his entire air wing to continue flying west, which they do. About 9 minutes after making that decision, he finds and then attacks the Japanese fleet. Now, on the way back to the Enterprise, about 25 planes run out of fuel at the ditch in the ocean. But most of the pilots and crews get rescued, not all. The third major decision that morning occurs when the 30 dive bombers from the Enterprise are forming up to attack two Japanese aircraft carriers, the Kaga and the Akagi. The leader of that group makes a mistake. He orders all of his aircraft to attack the Kaga. He should have split his forces, but in the confusion of battle, things like that happen. One of the pilots in that group recognizes that nobody's attacking the Japanese flagship, the Akagi. That's Lieutenant Dick Best. So he orders his two wingmen, Kroger and Weber, to break away and follow him. Those three pilots, three planes, go on to attack the Akagi. Those are the only three planes that attack the Akagi. They're each carrying one 1,000-pound bomb, and they do a simultaneous dive attack, dropping their three bombs together. They're able to get one direct hit and one near miss, but that's eventually enough to sink the carrier Akagi. So you can see how individual decisions can change the battle, and battles certainly can change the war. Now, the movie you're going to see only focuses on one air squadron, Torpedo 8. There were 25 air squadrons that continuously attacked the Japanese that morning, starting at about 7 o'clock in the morning to the critical 10:30. There were 2 Army Air Corps, 3 Marine Corps, and the rest Navy squadrons. But Torpedo 8 is considered the turning point, and when you see the movie, you'll see why. Now, it's a Hollywood movie, Hollywood actors in it, except for the last 2 minutes of the movie, where it actually shows you the actual pilots and the gunners from Torpedo 8. So enjoy the movie. After the movie ends, you're all going to exit to your right. And remember, as you go around the ship today, if you have any questions about the Navy or the Midway, ask a yellow hat. Most of us are veterans. If we don't know the answer to your question, we'll just make one up to
Mà nếu như thật là không biết câu trả lời của mày từ từ tỉnh táo ra một câu trả lời đó.
cushion came floating out like an old friend. Commander Waldron had always told us to keep our knives on our belts in case we got in a spot like this. I may have been the only one from my squadron who survived. That was the worst part.
Well, seeing as how this is my last speaking engagement, we might as well get right to it. Some people know the history of the aircraft carrier USS Hornet and my squadron, Torpedo 8. Where we went and what we did during the Battle of Midway. But knowing it and seeing it up close, two different things.
They say Hawaii is a paradise, and the air smells like flowers. But that morning, December 7th, it must have smelled like death.
Admiral Yamamoto knows he has to destroy the carriers he missed at Pearl Harbor. Knows that if he could sink them, the west coast of the United States will be open for invasion. A battle is coming. Our codebreakers have determined the Japanese strike will come at Midway Island on June 4th. I stand by this intelligence. We're deploying carriers Enterprise, Hornet, and Yorktown, plus their squadrons of fighters and bombers. Our men are ready. Even though Japanese forces outnumber ours almost 2 to 1, we'll do the best we can with what we have. That has always been more than we needed.
Men, we've had a very short time to train and under severe conditions. But I have no doubt Torpedo 8 is the best in the world. And I expect each of us to do his utmost to destroy our enemy. If there is only one plane left, I want that man to go in and get a hit. We'll launch at dawn. Write letters home to your loved ones tonight. Get some shots.
Of which I was one, but we had to fight a war at the same time.
Dear Adelaide, there's not a bit of news that I can tell you, except that I am well. I have your and the children's pictures here with me, and I think of you all.
Don't worry about me, Janie. I'm invincible.
Don't let Billy borrow my car. He's crazy. I miss your cooking, Mom. When I get back, we're getting his.
They've got us flying old planes, Dad. We're in training and fighting a war at the same time. We've had no previous combat flying, but we've got our tactics down cold. Commander Waldron's seen to that.
Hey, Sanchez. I don't know what to say.
Tell them how hard we're all working and that you love them. You can never say it enough times, Tom.
We've been working hard. I love you. I love you. I love you.
The Japanese want to defeat us. We can't let that happen.
提督君、我々は地球ミッドウェイ諸島に戻り、飛行場を破壊せねばなりません。我々の偵察隊は米軍艦隊を見なかったとのことです。
幽霊か。我々の戦闘機には魚雷が積んである。 戦機爆弾に交換せよ。はい。我らは大和魂がある。
Before we left the ship, Commander Waldron told us that he thought the Japanese task forces were further south. And when the group air commander made the call to fly due west, Waldron ignored the order. Said not to worry about our navigation. Just follow him because he knew where he was going. That was good enough for us. When we got into the air that morning, we did what we were trained to do, and could almost look at the back of Commander Waldron's head and know what he was thinking.
This is Johnny 1. Aircraft spotted in cloud cover. Need confirmation. Theirs or ours? That's them. We have no fighter cover, man. May God be with us all. Good luck, happy landings, and give them hell.
Johnny 1 to Johnny 3. Bandits, 11 o'clock. Look out. Johnny 6, I have 3 of them on my tail. Someone help me. Oh my God, John. Hell out. I'm running with his I'm going in. I'm in. Get this guy off me. Can't drop my torpedo. Johnny 3. I'm in. I'm going in. Commander Walker, take your nose out.
We lost a lot of men. 51 torpedo planes took off and 7 returned. Those who didn't die were just lucky. That's all. I always thought the torpedo squadrons deserved more credit. The Zeros were so busy shooting us down, they didn't see our dive bombers getting ready to attack. They never looked up.
Mark 6, blast them! Bullseye, Mark 6, good job! I got him right down their pipe!
In just under 6 minutes, the dive bombers scored direct hits on the Akagi, Kaga, and Soryu, but the Hiryu escaped detection. The Hiryu launched 18 aircraft to sink our carriers. Yorktown's radar picked them up and launched their own fighters. The 7 Japanese aircraft broke through like hell itself and scored 3 direct hits on the Yorktown.
hard we're all working, and that you love them.
The Yorktown has sustained crippling damage. We're having her towed to Pearl Harbor. You will get the fourth carrier. Every life under my command is precious, and I mourn each one that is lost. Their blood is shed for us, but war, no matter how noble, demands too much of it.
The battle was all but over. The Japanese were forced to turn back in defeat. But one lone submarine didn't heed the message and delivered the Yorktown her fatal blow.
This huge ship slowly sank below the water, the waves, until it disappeared, and we watched it until it was completely gone. It's very brutal business. It's a terrible thing that so-called civilized nations could do things like that to each other, convincing me that we're not really civilized yet.
Comrades in arms who sleep in darkness at the bottom of the ocean for 50 years after the end of the war, thank you for your sacrifice. My heart is full.
That day in Midway, 6 minutes changed the world. 6 minutes.
Torpedo weight. Every one of them was like a brother to me. No hero ever truly perishes. No sacrifice is ever forgotten. And those who died are angels that walk among us.
The memorial on Midway Island reads, "They had no right to win, but they did. And in doing so, they changed the course of the war. Even against the greatest of odds, there is something in the human spirit, a magic blend of skill, faith, and valor that can lift a people from certain defeat to incredible victory."
Got the sudden urge to jump.
Shit. I'm gonna go down here. Oh, there's people down there. Never mind. Oh, yeah, this was the orgy room right here. Look at that defect food.
Saddam Hussein in January 1991 to defeat his move into Kuwait that occurred earlier in the summer. The buildup of that action was called Desert Shield, and the actual combat operations were called Desert Storm. Aircraft carriers were the forces that we had assigned to us in the Gulf. Aircraft carriers, USS Midway, of course, my flagship, USS Ranger, USS America, and the USS Roosevelt. We also had 6 Aegis cruisers, a number of amphibious ships, and a number of combat support ships.
Now, I had to be on Ford Island, so I was still watching on TV here. I didn't get out there until 93, and then you got to Somalia during that deployment. You have to go there? Guess where you're not going? You're just going straight back to Pearl. Oh, thanks.
I got lost.
Yeah, CDIC is the door.
Oh, not killing it. Oh, yeah.
It is a prescription for war, this Iraqi invasion of Kuwait.
In Doha.
Though technology has changed over the years, the intelligence cycle is still the key to successful mission. The intelligence cycle is the Navy's secret weapon. From Vietnam combat operations to humanitarian, every action was meticulously planned.
I use these. Just call them grid squares.
The timer starts now.
Rise above our rest. Let us be proud of what we've accomplished. Let us give thanks to those who risked their lives. Let us never forget those who gave their lives. May God bless our valiant military forces and their families. And let us all remember them in our prayers.
Went in from over there. Popped out over there.
And it is a military base, so that Carl Vinson, that aircraft carrier right there is on the base there. So as we go from right to left, I mean, that is kind of civilian here. You'll see the Coronado Bridge over there, the Coronado Bridge. Far right-hand side at the bottom, that's where our Navy SEAL base. So you're surrounded by Navy here. You'll see our airport. So those of you who flew into that airport right there. You'll actually see the submarine base at Point Loma there. So again, surrounded by compartments here. The bridge, that is the home of the captain. The chart house, that is the workshop of the navigator. And then this room here is called primary flight control, and the Navy called it PRI-FLY for short. So you're at the highest covered area on the ship, and we are overlooking our beautiful airport here. So it's actually a mobile airport. So PRI-FLY, a lot of times people say, is this where the captain steers the ship? And it's like, no, this has nothing to do with that, everything to do with aviation. Highest covered, if you're on land and you're at the highest covered area overlooking the airport, you'd be in the tower. So basically this is our tower. And the guy in charge is the boss, so that these chairs here, these are the officers up here. All right, so the air boss. The air boss is a big deal to be the air boss on an aircraft carrier. First of all, you were a pilot in your younger days. You kind of worked your way up, became a commanding officer of the squadron. You worked your way up further. You are now the commanding officer of all the squadrons on board. You're in charge of the 65 airplanes. You're in charge of the 250 men running up and down this deck, launching aircraft, recovering aircraft. The air boss is in charge. So I referenced it to Top Gun. So you all seen Top Gun? Oh yeah. So there was a scene in the most recent one, Maverick, where Maverick actually flies so close to this island. He came so close to this island, a guy spills coffee on himself and kind of gets angry with Maverick. The guy who spills coffee on himself, that was the air boss there. All right, so the air boss, again, he'll have that job for about 1.5 years and then moves on to his next assignment. You can go ahead and take a picture. And then what happens is the mini air boss actually moves into the boss's seat and we get a new mini. So it's kind of how they train the next guy up. And the reason they're seated like this, the mini boss focuses on the launch. So they launch off the front of the aircraft carrier and they land on the back. But the mini boss is focusing on the launch. And it's kind of weird, he's the new guy, right? The pilots, that they hold their plane up to the catapult. It's the catapult engineers, basically, they hook up the plane to that. And the pilot just pushes it to full throttle. It's the catapult that actually launches him off this end of the thing. Now their skills come into play, first of all, when they have to fly the airplane, then go off and do their mission, but most importantly of all, when they have to land that plane safely back onto an aircraft carrier. So they land on the angle deck that's out there, and we actually have an F4 in the landing pattern back here. Right behind the F4, we actually have a docent, yellow hat guy, giving a presentation. He goes into a lot more detail of how to land that plane safely. In fact, today we have a pilot who was on the Midway here, so he's giving a lot more in-depth talk about how to land that plane. I always say it's one of the best presentations you'll see all day, but what I mean is the second one you'll see all day here. So, all right. They actually tell me that these ceilings are 8 feet tall, and I'm like, I'm 6'6". There's no way this is 8 feet, right? What they're talking about, though, on the Midway is 8 feet compartments throughout the entire ship. So it's 8 feet, 8 feet, 8 feet, all the way through. But then they put in 5-foot doorways and loaded up with a bunch of stuff, and people hit their... All right, so welcome to the chart house. I know you thought it was a restaurant out there, but actually every Navy ship has a chart house, also known as a chart room. And guess what? We have charts in here. So this is actually the workshop of the navigator. And the navigator, interesting fact, also a naval aviator. So he too was a pilot in his younger days, kind of mid-career lieutenant commander. And he is the navigator of the ship, and he's got 3 jobs to do. Know where you're at, know where you're going, and document it. So the charts that are laid out in front of you are the navigator laying out a path from open ocean into the port of call that he wants to bring the ship. So that chart, that's actually the Philippines, where the Midway went often during its career. And here to my right, San Diego Bay. Navigator lays out a path from open ocean into this very spot right here. And then this chart here, near and dear to my heart, this is actually Tokyo Bay, and the navigator has laid out a path from open ocean to the port of call Yokosuka. So near and dear to my heart. So the Midway was forward deployed to Japan for 17 years, and I actually served on the Midway for 2 of those years. So yeah, welcome to my old home.
Is that because you married a Japanese, or?
I'm not. I was more concerned about the ceilings here, that they haven't changed the ceilings in all that time here. So I'm going to speak to the little X's that you see along that path. So this is a method of navigation called piloting. What happens when we're pulling into port, the navigator will send his enlisted guys called quartermasters to the side of the ship. And they have a tool out there called the Navigate. It's a telescope that's attached to a compass. And as we're pulling into port, they have landmarks that they're looking at. And those landmarks are listed on these charts as A, B, C, D, E. And they're going to be permanent landmarks, like a lighthouse, a hotel, something like that. So as we're pulling into port, the navigator will ask his quartermasters, give me your compass reading. That's the guy on the left-hand side, the port side. Give me your compass reading from position A, for example. And with that, he draws a line along that compass reading. He will then ask the quartermaster on the starboard side, the right side of the ship, give me your compass reading from position E. And he draws a line along that compass line. Where those lines actually cross is where the ship is at that particular moment. And again, that method of navigation is called piloting. And the accuracy is good to 100 feet, which is pretty good. I mean, the ship is 1,000 feet long and 300 feet wide, so 100 feet is good. And they do that calculation all the way into when they pull the ship into port there. So. All right, another method of navigation we speak to is celestial navigation, and for that we need another tool. We need a sextant. So we have a sextant in the display case over there, and we actually have a picture of a sextant right there. So celestial navigation, interesting fact, is best used 2 times during the day. And that's at dusk and at dawn, when you can see the horizon and stars at the same time. So you all know that time of day, right? So you pick out 2 or 3 stars, 3 or 4 stars, and you measure the angle between the stars and the horizon. Again, measure the 3 or 4 stars with a mark in time, and they can figure out where the ship is within 1 to 3 miles. I know that sounds kind of big, but 1 to 3 miles is actually pretty good when you're in open ocean. And just as a reference, if you start a point and actually come all the way around, it's a 5-mile loop to actually get all the way back to there. So 5 mile, 3 to 5 miles is a pretty good distance calculator in open ocean. Yes, right? Accuracy within 10 feet. But the whole point of talking celestial navigation is they still teach it in Navy schools today, and they still train to it daily. And the reason for that is if the satellites go out, if electricity goes out, this navigator needs to know where he's at all times. So. All right, so one last thing, all the white area and blue areas on these charts, that's water. And inside the white area, you can see these little tiny black numbers. And those little black numbers, these are soundings taken at low tide. So this one here is in meters, Philippines in meters, but the one in San Diego is in feet. So if you look underneath the Coronado Bridge, you can see there's 37 feet of water at low tide. And so this is good information for a navigator to have if he's laying out these paths. Also, we have a tool here called a fathometer, which measures the distance between the bottom of the ship and the ocean floor. So lots of tools for the navigator to navigate this ship. So the captain of an aircraft carrier, interesting fact, also a naval aviator. So he too was a pilot in his younger days. Kind of working his way up, might have been the navigator at some point, but right now he is the captain of an aircraft carrier, and it is a big deal to be captain. First of all, there's only 11 active aircraft carriers out there, so if you make captain and you do well, you're in the captain. So here in San Diego are active aircraft carriers across the way. That's the Carl Vinson, but we also go home to the USS Lincoln, and the Lincoln has the distinction of having the first female captain of an aircraft carrier. She actually did really well. She completed that job about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and since then has made admiral. So she really did well. But what I find interesting mostly is that her piloting skills, she was a helicopter pilot. So according to her, all these jet pilots like to look cool with their aviator glasses. She says they all look the same when she is pulling them up out of the ocean there. So, that's a helicopter pilot for sure. Alright, so the captain's in charge. Navigator has laid out the path.
But the guy who steers the ship is standing right where I'm standing. He's called the officer of the deck. And the officer of the deck, supported by the junior officer of the deck, supported by the junior officer of the deck. These guys are working their way up here, just like the mini bosses for the boss. That picture right there is a picture of an underway replenishment. So the ship in the middle has fuel. And so basically, we will set up a rendezvous point in the middle of the ocean. And so the midway will be cruising along, that supply ship will cruise up right next to us. As soon as they match speed and direction, they fire over a line to us. That line then becomes a rope. That rope then becomes a fuel line, and we'll connect fuel lines, and for the next 4 hours, we're going to be cruising side by side, bringing on fuel here. But you think about it, we're at sea, right? And we are connected. And so during this time, one ship can't be going faster than the other, and they can't be digging into each other. So the job of this helmsman and lead helmsman, they have to be on their game for that 4 hours. Meanwhile, the officer of the deck moves over to the chair that I'm pointing at over there, is looking out that window, keeping a close eye on that ship right next to us, and telling these guys, speed up, slow down, that kind of thing. And so whenever an aircraft carrier travels, we travel in a carrier group. The smaller ships that travel with us are going to be guided missile cruisers, destroyers, that kind of thing. So as we're refueling our fellow ships in that group, we're refueling on the other side there. You know, it takes them maybe about an hour to refuel. So, and it's kind of cool. When you're in the middle of the ocean, you don't see anything. But that day you're refueling, it's like, oh, hey, there's our buddies out there. But I will say, being on the midway, it doesn't move that much in the water. Very stable. But when these other ships will be dipping and diving and dipping.
Fucking mannequins are creepy. It's all funky down here. Isn't that? It's for that. Or continue. Steam jacketed kettle. Oh no, look at that. This fucking industrial thing. Thanksgiving's on the menu, boys. They got actually a really good name brand. Wondering if they had multiple of these. This will cook you more.
Hell, I don't know why anybody'd want to be a Navy diver. Now you report to this line, Cookie.
What is this? Is this the brig? What you doing there, Mr. Daniels? Oh my God, my head's about to hit this. Look at that post office. What are you stealing? Reader's Digest. It's fucking Nicolas Cage. Look at all these pulleys. Fucking mannequins are creepy. Seawater, evaporators, turn into potable water. Tasted a bit like fuel. Boilers.
Laundry.
Is that the John McCain? Here we go. Air conditioning plant.
The first night is old Top Gun movies from the 80s, and the second night is Top Gun movies. Keep going, whatever it was. You will be notified.
Turbocharger. A scuttlebutt. And right there, the M16 cleaning gear. All the M16s had that in the butt. Oh, I remember these. Poncho liner. I wonder where the bray is. I assume it's probably around where the weapons are. Because you gotta shoot a motherfucker. Make it was accurate. They need some old ass fucking 60s and 70s Playboys up in here. Oh, there we go. There's the troublemakers. Make sure I don't fucking roll down here. What the fuck is he doing? Oh, little Jimmy. Grinning. Something wrong with your fucking forearm there. The coffee you're drinking looks a little funky. Yes, sir. Finest qualities. McGrory. Bread and water. Okay. Look at that right there. That smell. Look at that shit. Crew birthing. Oh, just another fucking ladder. My shins got busted. Put the fucking sick bay way down here. People get injured, they just fucking roll them right down the stairs. Give them some morphine, let them just roll. Jesus. Patient head. That's where patients get head from. A little hot down here. Not gonna make a dock. Have that bedpan. Put him out of his misery. We're gonna get more head out. Serious from there. X-rays. Show them, you can see it. Some cavities.